And we are recording now. And Judy, thanks so much for coming on. We're going to monitor this to see if anybody comes in. And I'm getting lots of texts from faculty members who did program information sessions. So I'm hoping they did well. Thanks so much for coming on, Gracie. So here's the deal. We asked everybody to mute during the first session. Now it's a free-for-all. We're actually calling this the enrollment info session after dark. So anything goes, ask us any questions, chat them in the Zoom, break in anytime. And I'm being obviously a little bit silly, but we do want you to ask any questions you have. We're going to go over kind of a brief overview of how you get to be a student here at IVCC, but we know everybody's got different situations, and that's what we're here for. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So here's us, just so you can see us twice. You can see a picture of us. Yes, exactly. I just realized too, I did not introduce myself during the first session. I am really bad at that. I'm Quentin Overacker, Director of Admissions, Records, and Transfer Services here at IVCC. Graceland.
Hi, and I'm Graceland Quessy. I'm the Student Recruitment Specialist here at IVCC.
And we are super excited to have Graceland with us via San Diego, California. She went to UCLA, worked at University of Nevada, Reno, and now at IVCC. So she's got a ton of experience that she can help students out with. And so we're super, super lucky to have her. So we're going to get started. So Graceland, I think you have questions.
I do. So I work here, but say hypothetically I didn't, and I wanted to come to this really cool school. What would the first step be?
I am so glad you asked that. It's almost as if we talked about this beforehand and we planted questions, but the very first step for you, for any student who's wanting to start at IVCC, is the easiest step. So we want you guys to go to ivcc.edu/apply. And you can see here, this is our homepage. So if you just go to ivcc.edu, if you don't want to mess with anything there, we've got on the right-hand side of the screen, this apply button. Click there. That is IVCC's application. It is free. It'll take you about 3 minutes to fill out. Once you fill that out, the reason this is the single most important step is once you fill this out, you're going to get in our communication pipeline, and we literally are going to email you. We're going to text you. Sometimes we drive by with van deliveries, whatever, but we are going to let you know what you need to do next, because we know, especially now with the pandemic, with being a senior in high school, if that's what you are, or being an adult student, or whatever the case is, there's an awful lot to remember, and we need to make it as easy as possible for you. So once you apply to IVCC, you'll get a text from us that says, thanks for applying. You'll get an email from us. You'll get a letter from us and a really beautiful information packet. And that's going to tell you next steps. But again, we're going to continue to let you know what you need to do next. So it's super important when you do apply, put in your cell phone, because we do use the texting service. Put in your personal email, because we're going to email the heck out of you. And again, it's not going to be just junk marketing stuff or whatever. Graceland does sell lawnmowers on the side. She may send a couple of those, but we will let you know your next enrollment steps.
So those steps, then the next one says that I should send my official transcripts, but from where and who do I talk to about that?
That's a good question. It's very nebulous language. It's sometimes difficult to figure out what that means. So what we mean by send your official transcripts is, if you're currently enrolled in high school, ask your guidance counselor, ask your school counselor to send your official transcripts to IVCC. So if you're a current high school student, go ahead and have them send your official transcripts to us. If you are, if you've been out of high school for a couple of years, we still need to see those high school transcripts. And the reason for that is financial aid, we'll talk about in a moment, but there's a whole nother reason for that, which we'll talk about in a moment too. If you attended any college anywhere, so let's say maybe you are from Midland High School and maybe you took a dual credit class through Illinois Central College, send those official transcripts to us as well. And you're just going to send them to IVCC. They'll get to the admissions office. So just have whoever it is, your high school counselor, your somebody at the college that you took classes at, wherever, your GED or HSE score report. That's going to be the Regional Office of Education. You're going to send your official transcripts to us because that's going to help you out in the long run.
My high school counselor keeps talking about the FAFSA and filling out financial aid and free money. I am all about the free monies. So what does that all mean, and how do I get to be part of that?
Yeah, so I'm sure that you've heard a lot about filling out the FAFSA. I'm sure you've heard a lot about financial aid. There's a lot to financial aid, and that's why your high school counselor probably is bugging you about that. There's actually a new state law that just went into effect last year that all high school students are required to either fill out a FAFSA or to get a waiver for that. I'm not going to go into it too much here tonight because we want to keep moving with the steps, but all I can tell you is talk to your high school counselor because they often have FAFSA nights at your high school. They can help you, kind of direct you to get in touch with people that can help you fill out that FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. That will get you kind of in the pool to determine if you are eligible for grants or student loans or anything like that. The next really important thing, though, is scholarships. That's coming up. Azarette mentioned that in the earlier session, and I put the foundation scholarship link in there. IVCC gives away over $300,000 a year to deserving students who apply for our scholarships. And the minimum scholarship amount is $500. So believe it or not, coming up December 11th, our foundation scholarship application is available. That's going to be for next fall. So if you're a current high school senior, or you're thinking about starting next fall, or even if you're thinking about starting next spring, fill out that FAFSA and then again apply, because then we're going to let you know when that scholarship deadline and when that application is available, and we'll let you know about that.
So remember that December 11th, make it rain money.
I like it.
Placement tests. I've been hearing a little bit about that, and I'm not really sure what that means.
Yeah, so I don't want to put anybody to sleep here because placement tests, there's a ton of information, but here's the good news. So depending on however you feel about state government in Illinois, one super cool thing that they did in the past year is they said, okay, at the moment, the way students take placement, or the way students are placed into college level coursework, there's really just kind of one or two avenues. They opened it up. And so when we talk about placement tests, what we mean is we want to figure out where you're going to place as far as what courses in English and math that you're going to take. So let's say you're thinking about transferring onto a four-year school for accounting or engineering or something like that. You're obviously going to have to take a lot of math in high school or in college. We want to know, where should you start at? We want to put you in the appropriate course, one, so that you can kind of jumpstart the process if you happen to have a good, if you're really good at math, or maybe you need a little bit of extra help. We want to know which math to put you in. Same goes with English. But what I can tell you is, and I'm going to end my talk on placement tests here in a moment, you can use your high school transcript now to place into English or math. So it's no longer just take the test and that's going to tell you where you are. Our counselors can actually look at your transcript and say, hey, this student's got a 3.0 GPA in high school. They're a solid student. We want to put them into a college level English and math course, and we can do that. That's all going to happen in the spring, though. That's going to happen kind of starting in January. So that's, again, why it's so important to apply, because we're going to text you and we're going to email you with specific information about that.
Okay, so the next step says meet with a counselor. Do you mean my high school counselor, or do I talk to somebody here?
Yeah, that's again another astute question, Graceland. Thank you. So when we say meet with a counselor, we mean meet with an IVCC counselor, because our IVCC counselors are the people who are going to sit with you whether it's phone, Zoom, whatever the case is. And we actually have a counselor that just joined us in the room. We have a special guest, Renee Prine. She's one of our counselors. She is going to sit with all of our incoming students, again, Zoom or phone, whatever, and she's going to work with them to figure out, okay, what are your educational goals? Do you want to take a couple welding courses and get straight to work? Do you want to maybe get a 2-year degree in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning? Or maybe you want to do nursing, or maybe you want to be an English literature major, which somebody on here was tonight. Renee and our other counselors will work with those students to figure out, okay, here's what your academic plan looks like. Here's what your courses are going to be. Do you work part-time? If so, how do we work that? Renee, I know you didn't plan for this, but I'm wondering, do you want to talk just for a moment about what that counseling meeting looks like for a brand new student?
Hi.
Hello.
So for those of you that just left my session, welcome to this one. So absolutely. You know, whether we're doing it via Zoom or whether we're on the phone, whatever convenience it is for you right now during COVID. But typically, if you were sitting across from me, I'd say, let's talk. What are your interests? What do you want to, you know, explore? What's your goal? If your goal is to come in and become a CNA, and that is what it is, we're going to get you that CNA course. We're going to get you out and we're going to get you graduated and hopefully pass that state test and have you complete your goal and you're on your way. If your goal is to become a doctor, our goal is to make sure that we're giving you the correct courses in order to transfer to, you know, University of Iowa or, you know, U of I, you know, Urbana-Champaign or Northern Illinois University. Whatever your goal may be, we're going to be here to help you attain that goal or get you on a path in order to be able to say, I've met my goal at IVCC. And like I was saying earlier, if you want to take a welding class because you're unsure, and you want to take a criminal justice class because you're unsure, you know, and then we're going to throw a social work class into that, and I'm going to, you know, throw an English composition course on the back end. We'll help, and I'll be like, what were your ups and your downs? What did you like? What didn't you like? And we'll go from there. I talked a little bit about career cruising. If you're completely undecided, we might work with you in using that tool in order to better shape what your likes and your dislikes are. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what you have to be when you grow up. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up, but you know, it's a start. And if we can help you start, that's another goal. Short-term things, big progress.
And I am truly not just saying this because Renee is on. I'd be saying it whether she was on or not. But I know Gracelyn and I feel the exact same way. The most important part of this entire enrollment process, that's why we want you to apply. That's why we want to start sending you communications, is we want to get you to one of our counselors. We want to get you to Renee or somebody else upstairs, because that is the most valuable conversation you'll have throughout the whole college process. Because literally you can go into Renee and you can say, I have absolutely no idea what I want to do, but maybe I want to end up in California. Renee can talk with you about what your options are. If you say, you know what, this is exactly what I want to do, and I want you to tell me how to get there as soon as possible, Renee's going to tell you how to do that. It can even be, seriously, it can be, you know what, my parents are making me come to IVCC. How do I get done as quick as possible so I can move on? And I promise I'm going to end this quick about the counselors, but why I think so highly of our counselors is they are not simply here to tell you how to continue your time at IVCC. They are here to help you succeed with whatever your educational plan is. If that involves one class here and then moving on, they're going to tell you that. If that involves staying here for 2 years, they're going to tell you that. Have an honest conversation with them. It really will be the most important thing you can do.
Yeah, and we don't know it all. Oh, I'm sorry, Gracelyn.
No, Ray, you go ahead.
We don't know it all. And so if you want to go to California, I'm going to reach out to Gracelyn and I'm going to say, what's in California for this student that you know? Because I don't know it all. But guess what? We've got people that we can network with. And that's one of the most important things that about this job is our networking capabilities to say, I think she's going to know somebody. So hang on, let me give her a call. I've been on Zoom calls before with students. I'm like, because you'd be in my office and I'd be like, hang on, let me call this person because they might know the answer to this. Then we get you connected and then we get you going. And that's one of the most exciting things is making connections for you all as students and getting you on that right path. But it's also going to take work from you guys as well. It's a give and take. It's a relationship. We don't do it for you. We empower you and give you the tools and help you make these decisions and point you in the right directions. But it's a give and take 100%. Sorry, go ahead, Graceland.
So my counselor from undergrad was wonderful. Her name was Lavelle, and I came in completely undeclared and not knowing what I wanted to do. And I came out with a major in sociology, 2 minors in the honors program, and graduating early. And so with no overlap. So she made that kind of magic happen and is one of the reasons that I actually went into education. So our counselors are just as helpful, and I highly recommend just take advantage of that resource because they're here waiting to help you out, and they will help you out.
And one last thing, I promise, this is not a Renee party, but it quickly turned into one. They can, and they're personal counselors as well. So if something's going on, and you know, we've all been there. We all know what it's like, where you just feel completely overwhelmed. You don't know what the heck to do next. You don't know where to turn. That's where Renee was talking about making connections from that personal counseling aspect. You know, I've sent students to Renee who I know are in a bind and they just need somebody to talk to and somebody to help. That's what Renee is trained to do, and she does it so well, and so do our other 2 full-time counselors. And I know she spent oodles and oodles of time above and beyond what her actual, you know, job description is, simply because she cares about people. So we're really grateful to have our counselors here. So have that conversation.
So next, I know I'm so ready to come here as a student. Shut up and take my money. How do I pay tuition?
So Graceland is making it rain. She's got way too much money, so we will no. So here's the deal. Once you meet with that counselor, this is going to be if you're starting next fall, this is going to be next April, May, somewhere along those lines. Renee's going to work out an academic plan with you. Then you're going to register for your courses. Once you register for your courses, if you have financial aid, you can use that to pay for your courses, your tuition. If you don't have financial aid, you can set up a payment plan with us. We have, you can break that payment up into 5 different months that you can pay that off. Work with us. Again, I'm not going to go into it now because it may be months out, but just know once you register, and again, once you first applied, we're going to let you know when that payment deadline is. We're going to let you know which options you have to pay for that. And we'll be kind of letting you know how you can pay for your tuition. So real quick, I'm going to ask Renee Kristen's questions, but please, anybody else on here, chat your questions in or shout them out or whatever, because that's what we want to do, is help you guys out. So we've got somebody else joining. We're super popular. We're going to let this go all night long. Renee, real quick, Kristen said, after I graduate, how exactly do I apply for courses? Will a counselor help me pick them out beforehand, especially if I'm somewhat undecided?
So Kristen, like every freshman, they'll come into freshman counseling and registration, and that will be your first initial contact with a counselor. And it's great because you get a full hour with a counselor if you would like to do that. Typically, it's been if it's on campus, it's a little mini program. Otherwise, what we're going to be doing this year is I believe that we will be putting out appointments to meet with a counselor either via phone or Zoom. I love to meet via Zoom. I'm totally a Zoom counselor because I like sharing documents with you. I like showing you visuals. I'm very much a visual learner myself. You should see my office sometimes when I'm trying to map something out. It's really ugly and there's Post-its all over the wall. But I'm a visual learner. So during that time, it seems like we're going to be really pushy, and we're going to be asking you all kinds of personal questions. You know, how many hours do you work a week? What have you done so far? You know, but we're really trying to get an idea of what you may or may or not like. And we're trying to get you to open up a little bit to us to say, hey, you know, this course might be fun for you. You might want to check this out. Or I may, in the back of my mind, based on what you told me about an experience, think they might have a really good fit with this instructor. So, you know, there's a lot of things when we're asking you all of these questions that may seem kind of pushy, but we're really trying to learn a little bit about you, especially in an hour. And yes, then we will help guide you to pick out courses. Or it may end up that you need to think a little bit more about, you know, the area that you want to go into. And I may give you a little homework. And, you know, it may be that, okay, I want you to look into these three different majors, and I want you to do these things. And then let's meet next week or a couple weeks, and then let's go over and pick classes together, because I might need you to give it a little bit more thought than that hour that we just have together. So hopefully that answers your question. And I'm answering some in the chat as well that are some private questions.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, thank you, Renee. So yeah, please keep those questions coming. So Graceland, do you have any other questions, or do you want to share any other thoughts or experiences or whatever?
I know this is a very strange time for students and education and everywhere, not just in the United States, not just here, but in the entire world. And just wanted to thank you guys for coming in tonight to listen in on this. All we want to do is help you with your goals, whether it be you want to come to IVCC, or whether it's you're still looking at other schools, but just watching your back and making sure that you have plan B, C, D, whatever you want us to be. We're going to be here, but we want to get you set up for success. So applying and getting all that stuff in line is definitely going to help you out in the future. If, say, in the summer even, something happens and everything changes. I know I spoke with a student who just in the same week had decided he wasn't going to go to the four-year institution he was going to up in Wisconsin, and decided to come here instead. And I just kind of happened upon him on campus, and we started talking about the movie Hamilton, because I was listening to the soundtrack and all this stuff. And turns out he wanted to be a vet, and now he's actually interning and shadowing at my friend who is a veterinarian at her office. So I was able to set that up. So you never know who you're going to meet, regardless of where you go. And he said he'd been trying to set that up for over 2 years and to nothing. And so there's opportunities everywhere for everybody. And just keep your eyes open and keep an open mind.
That's such great advice. And everything I said about Renee, everything I said about the Counseling Center applies equally as well to Graceland, because I've seen her work with students. It's the same sort of deal, where we don't care what questions you have. We just want you to ask them. And it may be, it doesn't even have to be about IVCC. We'll work with students to get them connected wherever they want to go. And again, it may be a question. It can flat out be a question of, I don't know if IVCC is right for me. What do you get? What do you think? Again, we're going to give you the honest answer. We're not here just to funnel you into IVCC. We are here to help you succeed. And what's super cool now is you can text us if you want. So you can give us a call. Obviously, we'd love to hear from you. We'd love for you to send us an email. But what's awesome is, and listen, I'm guilty of it too. Sometimes you think, God, I don't want to listen to this really weird balding dude just drone on and on and on for like 15 minutes. What if I just text, and that way he can't just talk forever? Give us a text at 815-224-0439. Again, any questions you have. I know what it's like to go through the process. My niece just went through the process and I helped her through it. You would think as director of admissions, I would have a pretty strong idea, but there are still so many things that just trip you up. So please reach out. And again, I don't care if tonight if you text us and say, that was a lot of words, I tuned out after about 30 seconds, blah, blah, blah. Just tell me where to start. we are so happy to help you out with that, because I've been on Zoom meetings, believe you me, I know. So just send us a text and say, where do I start? Or what was it you were saying about financial aid, or anything along those lines. We want to help out with that. Renee just posted some really great advice in the chat. I don't know if you want to talk about that, Renee, or
your first initial, the question was, should parents attend maybe the freshman counseling session with their student? And we are neutral either way. I kind of put their first counseling appointment akin to getting news in a doctor's office, because it's a lot of information in a short period of time. So a lot of times what I say to students is, that's up to you. If you want to bring mom or dad, or mom and dad, I've had entire families in my office where I've had to bring in extra chairs, but I want to reiterate, I want to have that conversation with the student. And it's great to have that second set of ears to help clarify or take notes. And sometimes the parents might interject like, hey, you said you wanted to maybe think about this. Oh yeah. And they remind them, because they're getting so much information in that shortened period of time. Not that you can't contact us again the next day, but I'm just saying that sometimes it's a lot of information and it's overwhelming, and we know it's overwhelming. So sometimes you might want to have your parent there to help take notes, or, so you guys are both on the same page when you go home, or talk later to say, did she say this? Yeah, that's what I heard. Or, hey, maybe let's email her and clarify. So up to the student, really, in order to bring the parent, because if you were physically in the office, and I called, hey, Quentin, and the parent said, can I come? I'm Quentin's mom. I would say, well, Quentin, that's up to you. And Quentin sometimes looks at mom and is like, can I do this by myself? And, so it's ultimately up to the student.
yeah. So yeah, please feel free to text any question or chat any questions you have. Keep going. I know we said we'd end at 7. We'll give it a couple more minutes just in case you do have some questions. But I'm just going to reiterate, everybody here who said it, and I know I kind of droned on and on saying it, but there are so many good people here who can help you. And I'll say I benefited from IVCC. I was a graduate of Woodland High School. There's about 3 of us out there. And I came here to IVCC. And to be perfectly frank, I did terrible. And my 4th semester here, I realized this isn't going so well. There were 2 people here who are still with us, 2 faculty members who I'm not even like embellishing or being making this up. If it wasn't for those 2 people, my life would be drastically different and not for the better. And so it really is just getting connected here, and we will get you to the right people and we'll help you out. And again, let's say you're in your 1st semester with us and things just don't seem to be working out for you. Don't just disappear, because again, I did that the 1st semester. I just disappeared. And then, then you kind of feel weird. Reach out. We're not here to judge. We're not here to force you into any path that we think you should take. We just want to help. And there's so much that we can do. We can get you to so many good people who can help. While we wait for any other questions that folks might have, excuse me, I just want to reiterate, the single most important thing you can do if you're thinking about starting this spring or next fall is apply. Go to ivcc.edu/apply, get in that pipeline. Gracelyn, do you have any closing comments?
No, like text us, like it says, text or call us. We're not bots, so we'll actually respond with real words.
Renee, how about you?
I'm living the dream, Q. How about you?
I've been talking so long now, I've got a tickle in my throat.
I had to hit the water a little bit. So, yeah, I think our student panel said a lot. They were great. COVID's a hard time, and adapting to this new way of learning and new way of communicating. These high school freshmen or, high school seniors that are going to come in as freshmen and, kids taking dual credit courses, it's tough. And we just really appreciate all of you guys coming tonight and the attendance and so on and so forth. So thank you guys for being here.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I'm so glad you said that, because I remember, when my niece, who was living with us, when we were going through the process, I was looking at all kinds of articles online and trying to figure out how to help, because she had kind of a unique career path too, or educational path. And the best thing I saw, hands down, and this applies to anybody who's on here tonight, anybody who's a parent, anybody who's a guardian or a friend, the first line of the article that I'm thinking of said, if you're reading this article, your student's going to be okay. And that's what's so cool about this, is everybody's got questions, and there's going to be tough times and there's going to be a good time or good times. But the fact that there are so many of you still on this session, again, students or parents or guardians or friends or neighbors or whatever the heck it is, the fact that you gave up your night is so, so valuable to the student. And it means the world to them. They may not know it quite yet, but they will. Your student's going to be fine. It's just a matter of getting them in the pipeline. So
Yep.
yeah. Otherwise, again, like Renee said, like Gracelyn said, thank you so much for joining us tonight. These are going to be, all these sessions are recorded if you want to go back and watch them. But the most important thing from here on out, two things: ivcc.edu/apply, get in the pipeline, or reach out to us. Send us a text, give us a call, send us an email. Any of us, we're glad to help. That's what we're here for, and we're super proud to do it. So thank you all. If you're off tomorrow, we hope you enjoy your day, and give thanks to any veterans you may know or have in your family. Have a great night. Thanks, Renee. Thank you, Gracelyn.
Thank you.
Thank
It was
you.
fun.
It was fun. See you guys. Oh, now I have to figure out how to end. Just end it, man. End it. There we go.